I do think we're in this moment of change. I want to create a better industry. What's right to servers and restaurant workers? There's a good way to do things.
Just try to not be an asshole and make it better for other people. Like, be in community. I think that's an important lesson.
Norma Listman and Saqib Keval, chefs of Masala y Maiz, fabulous, delicious restaurant in Mexico City. Also featured as episode 1 on season 7 of Chef's Table. And so I advise everybody that watches, everybody listening should go and watch that episode to get the whole story, which is really moving. And they have an incredible approach, not only to their cuisine, but the way that they run their restaurant and the intentionality in everything that they do. And so it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
What a joy.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Not
so
tired.
happy.
You're not tired.
No, not at all. What is that?
We definitely didn't have a massive dinner last night, and we definitally slept a full night. Yeah.
No, not at all.
We got this.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was really interesting to see you, because I went to grab a bite and then found you after felt like a 5-minute walk through like a series of kitchens, and you guys were like cranking.
Once we got going, it didn't stop.
What was the dinner?
A takeover, a Masala y Maiz takeover.
Yeah, at Spaca, and it was just, I mean, her team is so lovely. And the way I feel like LA received us was really sweet.
That's great.
It was just a great crowd.
We haven't cooked in LA in 9 years, I believe so.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, it felt like a lot of the people that came to the dinner also knew each other. So there was a moment of, it was just great vibes. Like everyone was getting up
party.
and talking to each other and greeting and taking photos together. It was really sweet.
Do you guys do a playlist?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what kind of music were we doing?
This was a turn-up playlist that when the restaurant at Slam gets a kitchen going, everybody's just like, in a good mood, dancing and...
music to keep the rhythm going.
Yes.
Especially because we're a lunch-only restaurant, so we want it to feel,
exciting.
Exciting.
Feel like you're at a dinner party or a house party.
That's interesting. So tell me about lunch only, and what is that about?
Well, there's many reasons why it's a lunch only. In Mexico, the main meal is lunch, and when we decided to open a restaurant, we wanted to do things different. We wanted to prove that we can be successful, that we can make money, that people can make money working with us, and that we can have a quality of life. So focusing on this idea of the Mexican main meal allowed us to not open for dinner. And by not opening for dinner, we are providing a better quality of life to all of our team and to us. We believe that idea of the martyr chef that spends his whole life in the kitchen is dead. There is a way of making delicious, really high quality food, and that it's not separated from labor rights, from a good life, from rest. So those are a lot of the things that we think about. We also think about safety, the safety of our teams, and what it means to travel long hours, because a lot of people are coming from 2-3 hours away from the city. They commute to work at the restaurant and then they leave. So we want people to also be safe.
Yeah, there's moments when I miss dinner service. Like when we do events and we work at dinner service, like, oh, it's so much fun and there's this energy, but it also is not humane. I mean, it's the toll on your body, the toll on your family, the toll on your community, right? If we want our staff to have a high quality of life, like Norma's saying, it's not just them, but we need to think about their family lives, that they have time with their kids, that they can, or they can go out for dinner, or they can, have hobbies. We came up, we'd work till 2, 3 in the morning, and then you sleep for a few hours and you're back in the kitchen.
No, and then you go out drinking.
Right.
Oh,
because that's what you do.
Right.
You work really hard. You're so tired. And then you go with your whole team and you get drunk.
To release also the stress of it all.
Stress. And then you go home at 4 a.m., you sleep, and then you have to be back at the restaurant at 1, 2 p.m. and do it all over again.
And that's not
sustainable.
Good. It's not sustainable.
That's that pirate's life, romanticized kind of work yourself to the bone. And
don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's like the legend of the chef in a way, right?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's fun.
It's really, I mean, it's fun. When it's fun. But when you're trying to do it long term, and it's also our team have been with us for years too. I want what's good for them, and we want them to be able to do this for years more. So we need to think about all these things, and build a model that prioritizes their quality.
So then they don't that way, and also that way you don't have to worry about people kind of like burning out, or there's less mental health problems.
Yeah, and they're still burning out because it's restaurant work. It's hard.
Yeah,
there's no easy way when you work at a restaurant. It's really hard on your body. It's a lot of mental stress, a lot of presence. So I think it just diminishes.
It's like a harm reductionist approach to restaurant work. Like we're trying to see where we can pad it a little bit, And I think lunch only is a big thing. Like, and also making sure staff don't work crazy overtime hours.
Right.
And trying to give them or a schedule that they can count on, that's not going to change at the last minute, that they can plan their life in the future around too, and know that they're not going to be asked to work late or, cover so many shifts and stuff like that.
It sounds a little bit like Alice Waters a little bit in the way that, she has 2 teams that kind of rotate. So they're not working every day. And that, people said that she was, check notes, insane for doing that.
Yeah.
And I imagine that when you say lunch only, people are like, oh, well, how can you possibly make that work? So what are can you help me understand, like, what are the hours? And so are you open for like into the afternoon, or like, how does it kind of?
12 to 6.
Oh, I see. Okay.
First seating is at 12. Last seat comes in at 5:45.
Yep.
And then we don't kick you out. We let you have a leisurely meal, whatever, that is.
Yeah.
And that's it. We just sit the last table at 6:45.
That's
5:45.
5:45.
I mean, for me, that sounds, because I think that when you say lunch only, the people think that means you're only open from 11 to 2 or something. But when you say, I mean, to be honest, it's a dream for me, because I don't like to go to dinner later than 6 p.m. if I can avoid it.
It's great.
And, it's just a sign of my age, and also because I have young children. But like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then our staff leave. Like the last orders come in by 6. And at that point,
not by 6, by 7.
By 7, the desserts and stuff. But,
right. And then once they're done, then they can go home, and then the guests can hang around, listen to the SoundCloud.
They say, but for example, yesterday, Sergio, our culture and beverage director, we were still sitting tables at 10:15, and he turned to me and said, "Oh my God, chef, at this time, there's nobody at the restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody's gone."
Yeah.
And he recognized that sometimes he romanticizes a dinner service because it's cool. And he was like, "I'm tired."
Yeah.
We're like, "Yeah."
Yeah. You see?
He remembers what tiredness is like. Wow.
Exactly.
That's great. What other things? So there's some other things that you do that I think are interesting. Like, they kind of pay as you can.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about what the present day version of that is? Like, how is that working right now?
Well, it's something that we've been doing for a long time. And basically it goes back to a lot of the work we did previously in Oakland. And it's a model that we've used in different iterations of where people can come, order whatever they want off the regular menu. It's same service, same food, same quality of ingredients, same portion size. Everything's the same. The only difference is there's no bill at the end. There's a little envelope, and you can pay what you want. No questions asked. You can pay with a card, and the service team will ask you how much of this is for tip and how much of this do you want to go to the restaurant. And cash, you do the same, but also people pay with drawings, poems, trade.
Kombuchas
Yeah, something about kombuchas. Like
that they made at home.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff. But the idea is taking the barrier off and also giving us a chance to practice hospitality in a way outside the regular confines that we're oftentimes trapped in of we have to hit this like check average or
numbers, especially
numbers,
being a day-only restaurant. We have tight margins, and we have to hit those tight margins.
Yeah.
So we're always talking about numbers. We're really open about numbers with our team. And this day, the Pay What You Can Day, it allows us to do what we love the most, which is cook for people and have that joy of sharing of our food and being in service.
Yeah.
And so what is the schedule for the Pay As You Can?
Same.
Everything's
No,
the
I mean,
same.
like what day? You said it's a day, or like is there certain days
so
that it's
before
on?
we used to do it like every other month or every 3 months we would do it. And then this last year, we did the first time we invited more restaurants in Mexico City to participate. So it was last August, we picked a day and we had over 20 restaurants participate on the same day at the same time in the city.
Got it.
And
We did an open call, and
Yeah.
20 people said yes.
And it was, other restaurants with stars, other, and like bakeries, cafes, bars, full seating restaurants. People did their full day breakfast, lunch, dinner. And there was like a lot of different like variety of what was being offered in the city, different styles of food. And we focused on doing really like directed grassroots outreach of there's publicity in public transport. There was a lot of like local media and less on our social media. So we're trying to, which was great because it wasn't our regular guests. And we achieved this goal of bringing in a lot of new faces into the restaurant and people that normally wouldn't be able to eat out. And we had a line around the block that didn't stop. It was a really beautiful day. It's consistently one of our favorite days when we do it. And this year we're doing it, but now internationally. So we put a call out to restaurants around the world, and the response has been amazing. And we'll be announcing it soon of all the different places in New York and Chicago,
Oh, that's
and
great.
LA and London and
Chile,
yeah,
Brazil,
that are all going to do same paga lo que puedes, like
on the same day.
on the same day.
That's great. And it's so that way anybody that lives in the people that live there that would not be able to go to these places get to go and enjoy it. And then it's a way also for restaurants to kind of just work as doing a pure act of generosity and and love. And then when you do it, that's part of your planning and budget. You work in that there will be this day.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the day, in our experience, the day still breaks even. Our staff still make the same amount of tips. Like we've been documenting this for years, just trying to see how it works financially, and it works out. Some people pay more, some people pay less,
Right.
And people are still quite generous with their tips, and will say, I can only pay a little bit to the restaurant, but here's the tip, right? Which is amazing. And then just from a business side, like a restaurant side of it, for industry, it's a huge way to do outreach and to make noise about your restaurant, to again bring in new customers, to create goodwill, to show that, you know, your restaurant has some commitment to the community, that it's a part of that act of opening your doors a little bit wider, is lovely.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
great.
It pays dividends.
Yes. So you're looking for the restaurant to be sustainable and to pay for itself, but you're not like trying to open 100 restaurants and build this empire kind of thing,
No,
right?
that's not us.
Yes.
We tried opening another restaurant. We had Marigold, which we miss so much.
Such
We
a
love
fucking
it.
good restaurant.
Incredible food, incredible team. It's just for us not sustainable to run two restaurants the way in which we do, with the presence that we do and at the level that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it came to a point where we also became parents, and the numbers were there, but also Mexico City is living a very interesting moment right now. It's overly saturated. And we decided, you know what? We're at a moment where we can absorb everyone. All the team from Marigold can be absorbed into Masala y Maiz, and we have something better to offer to everyone
Yeah.
if we focus on just one place. And we decided to see, like, let's see how far we can take this one restaurant if we just focus on it and put all of our love and intention and energy into this one place.
One team. Yeah.
Yep.
And this is something we talked about early on, was how do we, you know, defining growth. And we'd always talk about, like, we don't want to do horizontal growth. We want to grow down and create better roots and a better structure and systems. And
better growth up.
Yeah.
Meaning in our mind and our creativity and how we want to grow as individuals. And what does that look to for our team? A model where they can grow. Like, what do they want to do, you know, in their organization or with their lives, or what direction can the restaurant allow them to take?
The other thing I feel like it gets back to is, you're saying that it's not just about money. It's, for us, it's like, what do you do with this privilege? We have this immense amount of privilege and platform, right? As chefs, and, you know, the fucking Chef's Table episode. Like, what do you do with that? The Michelin star, what the fuck do you do with that? Like, it's a crazy amount of privilege. And then, so we have to be responsible with that and then use that to do good. If not, we're just being dicks and, you know, hoarding this thing. And so that responsibility then puts us in a different position of we need to be.
It has to be the leverage to effect change in the industry.
So what are you growing towards, and what do you guys want?
I want to ultimately be the restaurant that can offer the most amazing benefits to their team. By no means we're there, but we're working to get there.
Like, I want that to be our reputation.
Yeah.
Like, work there.
I want the Alice Waters model, where the chefs work 6 months and they rest 6 months.
We've been talking about that for years. So it's like, that's more sustainable, right? Like, and trying to keep thinking about critiquing this way we work and keep tinkering at it to create something better. Yeah. Or keep trying stuff until we find something that works better.
Yeah. So you want to be the model for how you can live you can have fun, be creative, do great work, but not have to do that burnout, pain, everybody in the restaurant is broke, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it has to be for everyone. It can't just be for Norma and I, you know, like, this is like what you said right there. It needs to apply to everyone in the staff. Like, everyone needs to have like a model of rest and recovery. Yeah. So you can work really well and be really high functioning, but everything needs to be kind of centered around rest, like having time for yourself, whatever that looks like.
Why do you want to do all this?
Because we can. Because we should be doing it, because we have the privilege to do it. Yeah. And I feel like
we're dreamers.
Yeah.
We're romantics.
Yeah. We're stubborn.
Are very stubborn, but ultimately we are dreamers.
Yeah.
And we believe that this can be done. And we believe that if we can prove our theory of change, other people are going to follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's true, and people do. I mean, people send their staffs to come train with us. They ask us for our, back end like documents and ask us about how we structure meetings and stuff like that. We, of course, share everything, but I love those like restaurants that are set up as kind of training the trainer models, where they're openly sharing like this is how this works. This is how you can impact change in your industry, or this is how you can support your workers in a better way. Like these are resources that need to be shared.
Yeah.
Because I think oftentimes, especially in finer dining or in well-known restaurants, right, everything's kind of hidden behind this idea of like, oh, it's so local, it's so specialty sourced, and they just use it to hide all the shitty stuff that's happening behind the scenes.
And something else that is really important, it's education, labor rights education to our team. We're not afraid to talk about these issues. We're not afraid to teach our team how to fight so that when they leave Masala y Maiz, they can fight for themselves, and they can demand what is right.
And what they're owed as workers.
Exactly. I hate when cooks hide to eat.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I made tacos at the end of the dinner last night, and all the cooks were hiding, and I was like, everybody gets up.
Like hiding, like ducking in a corner?
Ducking in a corner to eat. And I'm like,
quickly.
It makes no sense that you're making all this fucking food for everyone, and then you have to hide to eat. No. You're proud.
Yeah.
You stand up. You can face the people. Why can't people see you eating? There is
when you've been feeding
nothing
them this whole
wrong
time.
with that.
It's a good question.
Done. You're done.
Yeah, but not only that, but it's like we're all eating from the same kitchen. Like, what does that look? I think, it's a funny thing if you ever see a sushi chef, or I see this in sushi, like the chef will sometimes like duck behind the bar for a second, like to taste the thing. But it's like, I like to know,
that's your
like if I'm at a bar and the bartender takes a little straw and, takes a sip of the cocktail, it's like, good.
Yeah.
Like, great.
We should always be testing. But if you are taking a moment of rest and you're done with your service.
Yeah.
We're done with service. Don't hide. There's nothing wrong. And it's like, there's nothing wrong for people to see a cook eating, and there's no why.
Why is it, if we go back and we think about like, why is there that need to be that, I guess it's called, what was it? I'm trying to remember what book it was, but it's something called a power distance. And the power distance between the guest and the service, or the chef and the servers. And it's like, I think that this goes back into like feudal times where it's like the servants had to have their hosts eat in their, the upstairs, downstairs, like Downton Abbey or whatever.
It's a class.
Like they have to eat, in secret, or they don't want to be, or what are they, untouchables, or that kind of whole culture and everything permeates, it's still there.
First, eliminate the brigade system. Pay your fucking people.
Pay overtime. No more fucking stages.
No more stagiaires. That whole thing of sustaining a restaurant through free labor.
Yeah, working is not a privilege, it's work, right? Like you shouldn't pay for the privilege of working in a kitchen. The fuck? Like what?
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that there's the argument that one might make is like, oh, if it's they're getting the opportunity to be in the restaurant, and then if they don't like it, they can quit.
Okay, that argument I will take from someone if you're taking one stash at a time. When you have a float of fucking 30 to 40 free stashes. No.
Yeah.
And in
because
some cases,
then it becomes your system.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in some cases, you're also charging them
for lodging.
And all these other things. That's something very Machiavellian and wrong. about that. You
And
just
so many restaurants do it. Like it's such a
Well, yeah, it becomes like a feudal sharecropping kind of. I mean, I
100%.
see that. I see how that, if the restaurant's success or their structure is based on having a system of people who are going to come in and shell your peas or whatever for free, I mean, that's not even a capitalistic thing either.
It's
right.
Let's go back to, you were talking about what's all the stuff that you question, right? After Norma's comment about cooks should be able to stand and eat. And I think it's a dignity thing. There should be dignity in work and the space. The restaurant itself needs to be a space of dignity that prioritizes dignity for the whole team and not just for whoever the fuck the chef is and their reputation. But it's not just capitalism. It's white supremacy. It's colonization. Like this whole French model, this restaurant model that goes back to the roots, like you were saying about this feudal structure, right? It's always been about exploitation. And if you build a restaurant with a model that's based off of exploiting your community, exploiting your neighbors, exploiting your farmers, exploiting your workers, you might be very financially successful, yes, but your restaurant's not fucking sustainable. It's not a restaurant. It's some, like you said, Machiavellic, what's the word?
Machiavellian.
Jesus.
Yeah, 'cause he was the master of, his whole thing was about, what was his book, The Prince, and it's all about how to manipulate and get people to do what you want.
exactly.
And it's just this
Against their
massive
own interests.
structure of exploitation.
Yeah.
And that's not a privilege. I mean, yes, okay. So if you take on a apprentice, right? That, sure, you have an apprentice. I worked as an apprentice in kitchens. I learned some really cool shit. Yes, of course.
We pay our apprentices.
Yeah.
We take one at a time and they get paid.
Full wages, full benefits like any other worker on the team. And
They
I think
don't get tips. That's the only difference. They don't get tips, but we are, as a restaurant, responsible for them.
But this whole like the restaurants, it's fucking bullshit.
I guess the question then, it just remains that like, oh, can they quit if they don't like doing it?
No, but not when you're blacklisted or when you're, like the thing is that when power is consolidated in that way and has such a weight in the whole industry, food media, celebrates it, upholds it, press upholds it, right? Workers don't have agency in that. They don't have dignity in that because it's an abusive relationship. You're trapped.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about this for
way
longer than right now.
Plenty of restaurants that do it, but I think this needs to be more of an open conversation. And yes, all these restaurants and all these chefs and their business partners and everyone very, very much deserve the critique that they're getting. And there should be more public critique and scrutiny. But I think also diners need to look at like, what the fuck are you supporting? There's influencers that are supporting like all of this. What are you upholding and why?
Would it be solved if they were not taking a profit and the money was like, well, I guess then they would be paying the people, right?
Yeah. And they can couch their profit behind other things, right? But I think it just needs to be tear the system down and rebuild it.
So the argument that it's like you go there and then you work the stage, you work doing all the the tasks and the things, and you're washing the dishes and you're working all the hours, you're not getting paid. You're kind of is it not? Could it be argued that it's sort of like going to college and then you graduated that restaurant and then you get to use that to get a job anywhere you want, and then that kind of makes it worth it, or no?
I wouldn't make that argument because college gives you so many other advantages, right? College is like a structure that's set up to build you up, whereas a restaurant, a stagiaire system is a system that's built up to exploit you.
And what are the stagiaires doing that they're not learning?
Menial tasks that they're doing repetitively over and over again. I don't believe that we should support restaurants and uphold chefs that build systems and build their career off of exploiting workers. I just don't think that's...
I hear you. Yeah.
I think that's a really clear, fine line. And I think we can call it, we can try to say, well, what if it's art, or what if it's, educational opportunity?
It is greed.
But I think it's more just greed and exploitation.
Yeah.
And an industry that's built itself up upholding chefs who are abusers, who are toxic, who are patriarchal, and who are continuing a model that doesn't benefit any of us.
You know, and what sucks is that then the receivers of that abuse are going to perpetrate it.
Go and abuse other people.
Yeah, because that's what they know, you know, and that's when they talk about the brigade system. I mean, that's Gordon's like kitchen nightmare persona is because his boss was pretty gnarly, and then probably his boss was gnarly, and it goes on.
And it's not just that's
on.
what they know, that's what they see as being successful.
Yeah, and there's also the romanticization of the tough kitchen, and it's like, you gotta scream at people, and you gotta do it because that's the only way to work at that high a level. And so I think people are better motivated by kindness than they are with fear. I think we can all kind of agree on that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if you gotta make it, if your dish, listen, chefs out there, if your dish requires a back shop with like 100 people manipulating objects, I think pay them would be good.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, I think pay them.
Just pay.
Just pay the people.
Pay.
Yeah.
Pay the people,
If you need to have a dish that needs 30 people to make, that's fine. Just pay them.
Yeah,
Pay
just
the
pay
30
them.
people.
And it's not like they're not charging enough money, especially when you're in fine dining and you're doing prefix menus. There's no waste. You know exactly what you're cooking. Your profit margins are way higher than when you don't have a prefix menu. You know what people are eating, and you can really be creative and have a food cost, a really good food and labor cost. Just pay them. Don't be greedy, share. To me, it's like share your wealth.
Yeah.
Share it. Just share it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're successful as a leader, your team should also be successful.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Because if not, then you're not successful.
Exactly. And everyone, not just the heads of the teams, but the dishwasher, the gardener, the
cleaning crew, like
cleaning
everyone.
crew, everyone.
Yeah.
Because all of those people are contributing to the success of the restaurant.
Why cook? What is the motivation here? Why do a restaurant? Like beyond all that, but for you, like why, what is it about cooking that is just like, this is what we do?
It is, to me, it really is my favorite thing to do. It is my outlet. It is my creativity. It is a way that I teach, that I share. It's my connection to myself and to other people. I've been cooking for a long time, and I remember when I was a teenager and I was always feeding my friends, and they were like, "Where did you learn how to cook?" I really don't know. I just kind of started cooking. I don't come from this romantic story of I grew up in the kitchen of my grandmother's, and no. I mean, there was a functioning kitchen at my grandma's house that was always she turned the table probably 6 times, 7 times a day during lunchtime. And I believe that's where I learned how to run a restaurant, just watching that. But I was never taught, and cooking for her was never this like, oh, I'm gonna like steer the big clay pots and do all these things.
It's not about like the ancestral craft or whatever. But what's like the first memory that you have of eating something and truly like feeling something deeply? And not even about the craft of the food, but just like the feeling or the environment of it, or who fed you. Like, what was the first time you had like an emotional bite?
There, at grandma's, at my abuela's house. And it was probably my grandfather's beans. He used to make this really delicious refried beans, and they were iconic to him. He would just like get them, and to me, I call them the true refried beans. And I remember those always being on the table in the morning, like a log of beans that you would cut with a knife and spread into a bread or a tortilla.
You're getting hungry.
Getting hungry. Did you hear that?
Oh, those beans are so good.
And so what did you feel? I mean, beyond just the delicious, it's like you feel, it's like in
Care.
the context of care and love.
Care
right?
and love. My grandfather has been my favorite person since I was a baby. And I felt so much love being around him and spent days and days and days with him. So that just was love.
What's the first one for you? What's your moment?
So my family is quite large, and it's a big immigrant family that gathers regularly for large family meals, very regularly. And I think those meals like were such an imprint for me of what it means to gather a lot of people and cook together, and just like large scale cooking, and then putting out all this food and everyone contributing, and then sitting down to eat together like that. As a child was just so impactful for me, and has always stayed with me of what it feels like to all eat together.
Can you like paint the flashback for me as like a 5-year-old, and like you're seeing this, like what were you doing? What were you tasting? Who were you doing it with?
I mean, there's pots that were bigger than I was, right? That I could fit inside, like giant. And the family had these like sets of large cookware that would rotate from house to house, and then eventually would be in like someone's garage had all the chairs, someone else had all the folding tables or the blankets that put on the floor. And at my family's house, where my grandmother lived with us, she had all the big pots, like these giant steel pots.
They're incredible.
Massive. And that those were the pots that would come out for the big cooking. And we'd set up like outdoor stoves to hold them all. And these just like long dishes being cooked over multiple days in preparation for some big family meal. But then they were all potlucks and like very well organized, so people would bring stuff as well. We have samosas on the menu at Masala y Maiz because growing up as a child, like there was so much time of just folding samosas. Seeing my family fold samosas, and my grandmother being like very strict on the quality of like, this one's okay, this one no, this one yes.
Did they pay
Oh my
you?
God, is my grandmother the chef that I'm critiquing?
Sorry. Delete that. Right, say that. Sorry, I
No, that's what
I had the same time.
she didn't pay me either. That's where my trauma response comes from.
Yeah, you were just staging as a 5-year-old folding.
My whole childhood. Oh no.
No, but that's like that. Okay, so the memory and then your grandma saying some samosas are good.
Yeah, like and
It's like, this is good,
checking,
good,
this is good, this
bad.
is not good, this is not good.
Yeah.
And
you do that.
and feeling that pride of like, oh, my samosa passed the test, right?
There you
Like,
go.
I'm in. But I was always very impressed by like, one, it felt like magic, and two, seeing these big pots that each had such different recipes and preparations. And my family are also hunters, so we do a lot of deer hunting and a lot of like backwoods, backcountry stuff. Like, just armed Muslims in the woods doing suspicious things.
I mean, so wait, where are we?
This is Northern California.
Okay, got it. Okay, and you're out there. We're hunting, and we're getting
Deer.
game and deer, and you
then,
got giant pots
and
just
then
bubbling
cooking it.
with all kinds of delicious stews,
Masalas,
and
and
sauces,
it's-
and masalas and whatnot.
Yeah, or like making chai in the woods, like on a campfire, like just a big pot of chai, because we travel deep wherever we go. So you have a caravan of 4-wheelers, and we're up in the mountains, and we build a fire
And
and,
it's
make
30
chai.
of them.
Yeah. Making
incredible.
chai on a fire for 30 people. Like all those things I feel like are such visceral memories for me
Yeah,
of my childhood. But I mean, this still happen when we go home. This still happens.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've gotten to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we took our son for the
yeah,
first time this
To
year.
go
And
four-wheeling
he
and
loved it.
How old is
yeah.
2.
Oh, okay, great.
And
But
it's
he
just like,
got to drive a car.
Yeah,
like
just
sit
driving
and
his-
like
he's like, this is my
we're in
truck
the
now.
sticks, and he's just like
Wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then see that thing of like, oh, we're gonna make chai now, and then go target practice, I guess.
That's fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it is.
Well, that sounds a lot more hunter-gatherer than agricultural revolution vibes,
I guess we're
think,
trying.
which is good.
Just trying to get our samosas past my grandmother, past the test.
And there's a lot of good samosa folding in your episode, of course.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked.
There's a lot of samosa pride.
Yeah, I talk a lot of shit, and then I don't. Then I lose.
That's usually
That's usually how it happens.
that's usually
Yeah.
what happens.
So tell me about like working together and also being married. What is that all? How do you do it?
You know, I mean, people think like, oh my God, it's so hard, but there is so much to do in a restaurant that we work together. We love when we get to actually both be in the restaurant during service. We do very different things. At the beginning, it was harder because the restaurant was smaller and we were figuring out each of our voices in the restaurant. And there's some overlap, and we matured as a restaurant and as restaurant owners, and each of us kind of fell into their place, and we don't mess with each other's area of the restaurant. We take a lot of decisions together and we get feedback from each other, but he does his thing, I do my thing. We have very specific roles in the restaurant, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
But there
It
can be
works.
days that we will both be in operations, and we might spend perhaps 5-10 minutes together, right? Like we're just constantly running, but doing complete separate things
Do you ever disagree?
all the time.
Yes,
And how do you resolve a disagreement?
I always win.
Did you say resolve?
Okay, good. So that's a good answer.
What is that
I see
word?
that. Yeah,
What-
I see
what?
that. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, no.
No entiendo.
Okay. Got it. What is something that in your relationship annoyed you about him that you learned to love?
Learn to love being the key comment.
That could be the name of your next book. Is going to be
learn to love.
Learn
Is
to
doing
Love.
the heavy lifting in that sentence, but yes, learn to love.
That he was always on the way, like with his smile. Like when I met him, we met in a kitchen, and he was always in the way. Like it's like a busy service, and he would just come in with his, and everybody loves him, obviously, and just be like, and I'd be like, move, just move, move.
And now you love that about him.
I love his smile. Yes.
Learn
Yeah.
to love.
Okay, what do you
No.
got?
Begrudgingly, she is generally right. And that is very annoying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was annoying then, still annoying, but now I can accept that she's generally right
Mm-hmm. Okay.
about some things.
Yes. Yes, I see that.
I don't want
And
to say too much on the record.
So you're saying, I got you.
No, just say.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
she'll pull this back up.
She
So I
does,
listen to
because
this
she's right about
podcast
things,
again.
but she's also like, to you, it's obvious right off the bat. And then it takes a moment for the rest of us to catch up, maybe.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, so have you guys ever been in couples therapy?
We tried once when I first moved to Mexico. We tried a session, and it was so fucking corny.
We couldn't do
so
it.
corny.
Oh, we couldn't do it.
I mean,
it was like,
So it brought you together? And that,
yeah,
yeah.
we still like laugh about it. The therapist was like, look into each other's eyes.
This
And
is
we're-
what you have, and we
This
both
is what
started
you
laughing.
have.
We're like, all right, this isn't gonna work. I mean,
But we do individual therapy.
That's
yeah.
good.
And we do a lot of like coaching together, and around the restaurant and in our operations, and we have a lot of therapeutic conversations. But that's not a bad idea if you have recommendations.
That is really funny. The idea of going to couples therapy and then kind of bonding over how silly.
Yeah.
That because look, there's some great couples therapists. There's some that are
Yes.
Yes.
it all
Exactly.
depends
I know.
on your experience.
Completely.
But having an experience like that,
That it was a shared experience. That
and then
we
looking
were
at each other's
all-
eyes and holding hands,
But that's what she said.
That's what she said. And we were like trying to be good sports and like, engage with the process. And we just could not stop laughing. It was
It was really fun.
and what were we going to the therapy? Like, what were we addressing?
We were addressing the stress that we were under. The restaurant had been shut, Masala y Maiz, because we didn't pay a bribe.
Yes, of course.
And we were under so much stress that was affecting our relationship.
Right.
So we were going to therapy to help us
to not go at each
navigate.
other over it.
Yes.
Right. This is a big moment in the episode if people want to really like see all of the details and everything. But the idea was we needed to stay as a unit, like on the same team, despite the incredible pressure and everything you have on the line.
And our relationship was young.
Yeah.
He had just moved to Mexico City like a year, less than a year.
How long had you been
Before that.
Together?
Off and on for
A year.
yeah.
Off and on for a year, and
Yeah.
we're going to
Then
Mexico City. We're starting a restaurant together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're fighting the power.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we needed a therapist.
And we need to look
were
into each other's eyes.
and say, "This is what you
Yeah.
have."
It sounded more like a threat. They're like, all right, fall in line.
And that was that.
Oh my gosh.
But it felt good to try,
Yeah.
to address. I think that what that made us realize that we're a team. We're going to do this. And we've learned through the years how to fight better, how to have better arguments. And
not fight dirty and have like an actual
we've never
like,
fought
dirty, but like have actual arguments where we can both say our piece and then resolve it.
Like, what is the objective of the argument? Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Yeah, like what are you trying to get at? And
Like, what is your goal in the thing versus like just...
And it also might not be a stated goal, but like trying to express and just get shit out.
Right.
Because sometimes we're dealing with family stress or something about our kid or something about our respective families or just us
or
as a
the
couple.
restaurant.
And then we also have all this shit about the restaurant, which is like just an endless pit of stress,
Yeah.
and it's HR things or
Yeah.
day-to-day operations or a certain client that came that acted in a way that, a lot. And sometimes it's just anger around like, I wish I'd done this or a frustration of like, I wish I'd responded differently or, said something in the moment. And all of that has to be dealt with. At one point, we had a rule of like, we're not going to talk about work at home, but it's impossible because then where else are we going to talk about it? And we tried like, okay, the drive home is where we get everything out. And then we get home and then we're at home. And home is our like safe space. But there's not enough time in the day to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Especially when we're both working at full speed doing different things. And so it just becomes like a kind of a constant in our life.
Yeah.
But if we didn't work together, I don't know if we'd ever see each other because we
We would never see each other.
If we were both chefs at different restaurants, I don't know how we'd be able to have like a
relationship.
because we'd both be so. We both have the same personality where we just dive into something completely.
Yeah.
And restaurants can be all consuming.
Yes.
If you let them.
Right. The menu. Yeah. Tell me what's your take on, so I'll just say I worked on, I shot the, Mark Milo, the director, he was like, we were kind of doing like a riff on a chef's table chef who's like a psychopath.
Yeah.
And it would look better if you did the food so that it really like looked like a chef's table-y thing.
No wonder. Yeah.
No, we
And I was
loved
like,
it.
yeah, if you're going to parody it, like I may as well
you should be
do
into it.
Yeah, but it's like you can reference,
I mean,
so
like,
many of the restaurants and the people that we're critiquing is like, oh my God, that's
like every trope that you see, they're like, oh, that's so like they could have just put their names in the credits. Like,
Is there a
so great.
kitchen that you worked in that felt like a menu kitchen?
No.
Neither of you worked in a place like that.
No.
But you've seen it, and what we're seeing is like it cults.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the article from Lumi Island from the New York Times had just come out sort of the same time. So it was just like on point.
So perfect.
It was so good.
But menu struck me. Also, there's the tasting meal that will never end, and you think
Yeah.
that you're going to die.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like every,
There's a lot of
And we've all
things.
sit
Just
down
layers.
through those meals, and you're like,
how many more courses?
And it's
Why
like,
are
I
we
have to
doing
go.
this?
yeah, but the menu and
menu.
all of the fiction food TV that is out there.
Yeah.
We love
That's
it.
the best. I think my
It's the
favorite
best.
food media, like the best representation of restaurant life is like the menu and Bob's Burgers. I think
Oh,
Bob's
Bob's
Burgers
yeah,
for
Bob's
me
Burgers.
is the most realistic. Like I love that show so much. It's just like day-to-day restaurant operations.
If you guys are in a street fight, what other and not a knife, what
Not a knife, right.
kitchen item are you using as a weapon?
Cast iron pan.
Yeah, I mean a pan is great.
Okay, we got a cast iron pan, and we know that she's right, but can you come up with your own?
Oh, that's not a cast iron pan. I wish we had some brand sponsor that I could plug right now for cookware. Maiden makes great pans to fight with. Kenya has these really like long, thin valens, like rolling pins, that I feel like would be really good for jabbing because they
Rolling
they have
pin, not just to bludgeon, but to stab.
to stab. Yeah,
Okay, good.
because they come to like a thin, like a nice little point.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good.
Noted. Great. So we'll get the rolling pin sponsor. At home, what is in your refrigerator?
Cheese.
A lot of cheese.
A lot of cheese. Cheese, tortillas,
Yeah.
guacachile.
Salsa.
This delicious tomatillo, avocado, raw. Everything's raw. Garlic, serrano, and cilantro salsa. Always.
A lot of jams, preserves, a lot of pickles and ferments.
Those are like the basics. And then the best thing that we have ever done for ourselves is that we hired somebody to cook for us.
There you go. Yeah, because you need to be cooked. Otherwise, you just.
And
We were just eating. We're parents now.
Oh my God! Yeah.
and we needed
Yeah.
to
There's
have.
that.
We were eating a lot of takeout, and
I
we
see.
were working late and not taking care of ourselves. And then we hired one of our former cooks who had started her own like meal prep, I guess we would call it, like service.
She comes once a week and packs
Set-
the fridge.
yeah.
Sets
We
you
go.
up with stuff, and then you
Yeah,
can just
writes a
assemble
menu
it.
on the door.
There you go,
and
great.
it's
And
amazing.
it's
We have. We also have, in order to be able to work how we work, we have a nanny that comes every day, and then we had to feed the nanny. So then we were going crazy because it's like, what is?
we were spending our time at home cooking for ourselves, cooking for the nanny, cooking for the kid, and not getting to any of the admin work that we were supposed to be doing at home, or all the other jobs
Or
we have,
resting.
or resting.
That's actually an important part of having a healthy marriage when you have young children. Also, is like, if you're able to do it, get a team and treat them well, and get it, work it out with the team. And then what I find is that if you do that, then you'll have more time to do the work that will then sustain that whole system versus just completely burning down and killing each other with your selected weapons.
We were. I mean, having a kid is the hardest thing that I've done in my life so far, and the first year was brutal. Because we were running the restaurant, we're not sleep. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing, but it's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we are really running ourselves down. We're not eating. We're eating quesadillas.
We're like living off of quesadillas and
That's
coffee.
it.
And just
And coffee.
endless coffee.
And that's not good. So,
And
or we would spend all this money on takeout. And we're spending the same money that we were spending on takeout, but in homemade meals.
Yeah, and we weren't eating healthily, and we can't feed that. We can't, raise a child on coffee and quesadillas like that's. So we had to do some.
Well, yeah, it's not even legal.
I don't.
You can't
I
even
don't
give a
think
child
so.
coffee. I don't think that's like. You're
child-
saying that you did for just for you guys. It's not healthy.
Well, our child does like coffee, but little sips here and there.
Well, coffee.
He loves coffee.
Oh, what?
And he goes like,
Yeah, after he
after he drinks
cute.
it.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes
He'll
sips
take a
like-
sip and be like,
A little sip of coffee because he's
sees us drinking it.
It sees you. It's just being like you. Yeah.
I was at a coffee shop yesterday by Nancy's Places, and they have a kid menu. It's the first time I see it, like
Cute.
a coffee kid menu. It's like, oh, wow.
We're doing great at parenting.
I think you are. Look, I think that you're doing great.
No,
Like, if
but
you're
you know
accepting
what?
help and
Talking
you're
about
doing it,
coffee,
it's good.
random at the restaurant, somebody came and requested a cappuccino for their kid.
Like a normal cappuccino.
I had a really hard time.
How old is the kid?
Like Tona's size, like 2, 3 at the most.
Just get a cappuccino. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. For parents at home, don't get your kids all caffeinated.
No.
It's not like normal, and it's not like chic. I don't think.
No. It was a hard moment for me at where do you put that line? Is
don't
that
even
my
know.
child?
don't know.
How do I am I making that decision? But I can't ethically give them a cappuccino for their
weird. Yeah, I just think it's weird. I don't know where the legality of it lies, but I'm not going to be like, nah, I don't think so. You bring your own give your kid your own cappuccino if that's what you're into.
I told them to do like a pintadito. I was like, just like
Milk.
mainly milk.
Yeah. Okay. What's the biggest lesson and most important meaning of life thing? Like what?
Oh, like the big
What are we
secret?
doing? Yeah. What are we doing? Like, why are we doing it? And what do we want for our kids?
It's what I'm telling you, or what I was saying earlier. We're dreamers. I want Donatiu to know that his dreams can come true, and that his parents' dream is to create a better industry for him, for the workers working in it, and that there is a right way, a better way, not a right way, but there's a good way to do things. And I do have that dream. I do believe it's possible. I do think we're in this moment of change. Somebody was asking me that question the other day. What phase of the restaurant are you in, or in your life? I believe that I am in the phase of change where I'm starting to see change. When people leave Masala y Maiz and they go to other restaurants and organize and teach what's right to servers and restaurant workers, I feel that we've accomplished something, because they're gonna go and they're gonna do that, and then this echo starts happening where people start doing things right, and that's where it's at for me. And that's what I want my son to learn, is that he can do something. He can do right, and he can dream big. He needs to focus, but it can happen.
I feel like the lesson is, if you are going to do something, like what I would love for him to learn as he grows up is, whatever passion you do that you're interested in, to, yes, do it with discipline and do it with all your interests and all your heart, but then try to make it better for other people too, better for yourself and better for other people. So whatever it is, like whatever it's going to be so interesting to see what his interests are as he grows up, right? And develops, and what he gets into. But I feel like whatever it is, I just try to not be an asshole and make it better for other people. Like, be in community. And I think that is, I think that's an important lesson.
Yeah.
But why are you doing this?
I think the restaurant work things, I feel like food can be a lot of things, and food service can be a lot of things simultaneously. One of those things that I think that food and food service does better than most is it gives you the opportunity to put values, dreams, politics, and practice, and every day you get to try it differently. You can try something new. Every day is like an opportunity to learn from the previous day and try to put a better solution in practice, or be more critical, or try something. there's something really beautiful about a restaurant filling up each day, or even each seating. Where you're like, okay, that worked. Now I can try something else, or I can continue on that. So when you are someone that is a big dreamer, you can follow like little, like different pathways. Like every day is a choose your own adventure type thing, to see how you can do what you do better. And I think there's very few industries where care is so heavily politicized, and that it gives you the opportunity to really put politics into practice in a tangible way, in an immediate way that can have an immediate effect on people.